1867. October 13th, William R. Foreman is born. 1874. April 19th, Booker DeWitt is born. 1880. Colombia's finest ice is established. 1890. December 29th, Booker DeWitt is present at the Wounded Knee Massacre, and is given the nickname the White Injun by other members of his regiment, due to his violent actions against the Native Americans. 1891. Colombia Freight is established. 1891 to 1892. Booker DeWitt, remorseful for his actions at Wounded Knee, attends a baptism ceremony presided over by Preacher Witting. In one timeline, Booker rejects his baptism at the last moment. In another timeline, Booker accepts baptism and is born again, taking on the name of Zachary Hale Comstock. 1892. January 22nd, Booker DeWitt is employed by the Pinkertons National Detective Agency. 1893. Booker DeWitt's daughter, Anna, is born. Her mother, Annabelle DeWitt, dies in childbirth. The city of Colombia is launched and starts a global tour of major cities. May 1st to October 30th, the 1893 Chicago World's Fair occurs, giving rise to the concept of American exceptionalism. The star attraction of the exposition is the floating city of Colombia, an ambitious project envisioned by the self-proclaimed prophet Zachary Hale Comstock, built using technology developed by Rosalind and Robert Lutece, and funded by the U.S. government. September 9th, Comstock reveals that U.S. Congress provided funding for the construction of Colombia, a city he intends to make a modern-day Ark. October 8th, Booker DeWitt gives up his daughter to pay off his gambling debts, and fails to save her after changing his mind. Anna's pinky finger is severed by a closing tear as she is transported into an alternate universe by Comstock and the Luteces. By existing in two realities simultaneously, she is able to intuitively manipulate tears. Comstock presents Anna DeWitt, renamed Elizabeth, as the Lamb of Colombia, and makes the claim that Lady Comstock gave birth to her after only a week of gestation to explain Elizabeth's sudden appearance. In the final universe that is seen, in the after CRS scene, where Comstock never existed, Booker is back in his office. He opens the door that leads to the crib, calling out Anna's name. October 15th, Rosalind Lutece gives voxophones to her twin in order to explain how he came to be in her reality. 1894. The Bank of the Prophet is established. August 12th, Jeremiah Fink starts using tears to access scientific advancements from other realities, after his brother made fortune from stealing music of future eras. November 14th, Fink observes Yi Suchong through tears opened in rapture and starts to copy the scientist's research on Adam to expand his own company's inventions. 1895. Lady Comstock is allegedly murdered by Daisy Fitzroy. Unbeknownst to Colombia's public, Lady Comstock was actually killed by her husband after she threatened to reveal that Elizabeth was not their child. Daisy Fitzroy was a servant in Comstock House at the time. Comstock framed Fitzroy for his wife's death in order to hide the truth. Daisy Fitzroy takes refuge in Finkton. At some point, she inspires the formation of the Vox Populi and becomes their leader. Marlowe begins to sell bottles of murder of crows in Colombia. October 4th, Fink discovers Big Daddies through tears and their irreversible conversion process, which gives him the idea for creating the songbird. 1895 to 1897. As Colombia's construction continues, Elizabeth is imprisoned in the tower on Monument Island, both to protect her from the Vox Populi and the false shepherd, and to allow secret scientific study of her reality-altering abilities by the Luteces, which provides Colombia with numerous technological advances taken from alternate realities. 1896. March 4th, Fink cuts all ties with Suchong after the discovery of an accidental yet successful imprinting between the songbird and its target, Elizabeth. The Luteces are able to start measuring Elizabeth's power levels. 1900. A large amount of silver eagles are minted. April 9th, worker number 089 starts his job at Fink's chronologically precise manufacturing and receives written instructions from his superior, Foreman number 08-2 Chi, including a secret message from the Vox Populi asking his help to smuggle out Fink's products for their cause. The same day, Fink Manufacturing starts producing broadsider guns to arm each of Colombia's police enforcers against the uprising of the Vox Populi, while the revolutionaries, founded as nonviolent, start selling the smuggled weapons on the black market to finance the revolution. August 15th, Fink Manufacturing starts producing bird's eye rifles as requested by Jefferson Poole to equip police force snipers. The Vox Populi divert some of the weapons to use to keep the city's rooftops under their control. October 31st, during a fire at the Fink Manufacturing facility, the city's leadership detaches part of the structure from the city to prevent the fire's spread, resulting in the deaths of numerous workers. Following this date, the Vox Populi become increasingly militant under the leadership of Daisy Fitzroy. 1901. January 1st, a first production of a new lightweight rifle, the Huntsman, is manufactured at Fink. The same day, a violent clash occurs between Vox Populi militants and police forces at Finkton Wharf shipping dock as the latter tried to prevent workers from distributing handbills. Colombia becomes involved in an international incident during the Boxer Rebellion. Colombia opens fire on Chinese citizens in Beijing, revealing to the world that the city is heavily armed. 1902. July 6. The U.S. government formally disavows Colombia's involvement in the Boxer Rebellion and recalls the city. Outraged, Zachary Comstock declares Colombia's secession from the United States and the city vanishes into the clouds. The anniversary of Colombia's secession becomes a citywide holiday celebrating the city's independence. July 23. A strike occurs in the city's factories and significantly paralyzes production. The situation turns into a brutal brawl between the workers and the police, leading to a roundup of insurgents, and death among the policemen. Vox Populi legal representative John Goldman calls for a peaceful resolution to avoid further violence. 1903. February 13. Daisy Fitzroy reveals herself as the leader of the Vox Populi. November 23. A bomb is discovered by the police forces, following an anonymous tip, and it is revealed as belonging to the Vox Populi. Several eyewitnesses, however, report seeing men dressed as police members placing the explosives before the arrival of the official investigation, leading both sides to accuse one another. Soldiers Field Amusement Park is completed. 1904. June 1. Fink resumes production of Barnstormer rocket launchers, which was left on hold after the Boxer Rebellion incident. Peyton Lane Easter and Sons begins producing automated stallions. Emporia Towers is bombed by a man the Vox Populi believe to be an unnamed postman. 1905. Vanderwall and Palmer begins to sell skyhooks for traveling on Colombia's skyline. Chen Lin opens his gunsmith shop in the Plaza of Zeal at Finkton. Kerner Preferred Hand Soap is established. March 16. The Vox Populi attack the local prison and rescue several of their comrades. As a result of the situation, Chief Poole's leadership is questioned, and Fitzroy reconsiders John Goldman's loyalty to the cause. 1906. April 11. Chief Poole is assassinated by an unknown sniper during a meeting with city officials and the act is claimed by the Vox Populi. Police officer Harrison Thacker is appointed as chief of police, and publicly announces a fierce campaign to be made against the Vox Populi terrorism. 1907. May 17. Police forces strike a violent blow at a cabal of Vox Populi in retaliation to Poole's assassination, but with heavy losses on both sides. July 27. Tears start to appear all over Colombia and are the result of Elizabeth's uncontrolled powers. The siphon is installed in the tower on Monument Island and begins to limit and harness Elizabeth's powers. 1908. June 4. The Vox Populi bombs the office of Colombia's Treasurer Montgomery Billings to destroy the debt records of the working class. The bombing caused no casualties. 1909. May 7. Daisy Fitzroy is captured by Colombia's police following a tip regarding plans for sabotage to the Skyline network. Legal expert John Goldman reassures the rebels that there was no betrayal from within the Vox Populi. Fitzroy is sent to the Comstock House Re-Education Center to be studied by Dr. Frances Pinchot before her sentencing. May 9. Daisy Fitzroy is sentenced to death by immolation on the 14th of May, and her body to be thrown out of the city. John Goldman, who disappeared since her arrest, is revealed to the Vox Populi to be the traitor who gave away their leader. Unknown to the public, Fitzroy is scheduled for a lobotomy before her execution. May 13. A bomb detonates at Comstock Plaza where Fitzroy's execution was in preparation. At the same time, Vox members get into Comstock House and Dr. Pinchot is betrayed and murdered by Daisy Fitzroy after promising to assist in her escape before her lobotomy. July 2. William R. Foreman falls to his death while filming waterfalls at Battleship Bay. October 31. The Luteces are supposedly killed after one of their machines is sabotaged by Jeremiah Fink. Instead, it disperses them across multiple realities, allowing them to exist across all of time and space. 1911. May 31. The RMS Titanic is registered in Liverpool, England, and launched from Belfast, Ireland. August 15. Colombia's police force debuts the motorized Patriot. The Vox Populi see it as another reason to rally against the founders. 1912. March 13. City officials grant Police Chief Thacker the authority to apply his final strike and arrest the rest of the Vox Populi members. The rebels renew their determination in the conflict. April 14-15. The RMS Titanic collides with an iceberg at 41 degrees 46 minutes north, 50 degrees 14 minutes west, and sinks on its maiden voyage. June 11. Jeremiah Fink considers changing Vigor's formula to injectable ones to reduce their production cost. The Lutece twins find Booker DeWitt and bring him into Comstock's timeline so he can reclaim Elizabeth. Across at least 122 different realities, none of Booker's attempts are successful. July 6. Colombia celebrates the 10th anniversary of its secession with the United States. The events of Bioshock Infinite occur. The events of Bioshock Infinite and existence of Colombia are erased from the multiverse due to Booker DeWitt and Elizabeth's actions. Burial at Sea has Elizabeth visit a version of Colombia, which takes place before the erasure of the Colombia timelines. 1960, alternate future. Booker DeWitt and Elizabeth arrive inside the Welcome Center of Rapture shortly after using Songbird to destroy Monument Island and the siphon that restricted her powers in 1912. The creature, trapped outside the building, is killed by the crushing pressure of the ocean's depths. The duo then use the bathysphere docked at the bathysphere station to reach the lighthouse on the surface, through which Elizabeth is able to open a passage to the Sea of Doors, the place outside space and time, allowing access to all realities. With this, the young girl is able to reach Booker's past and reveal to him his true memories. When this event occurs in relation to Bioshock is unknown, and the possibility exists that this Rapture is an alternate version of the one from the first game. However, the electro-bolt plasmid in the Gatherer's Garden is missing, the glass tunnel that Jack walks through past the malfunctioning door is broken and unusable, the one that gets destroyed by the airplane's wrecked tail at the beginning of the game, the floating wreckage of the plane itself is nowhere to be seen once they have reached the surface, and finally Booker and Elizabeth are able to use the bathysphere, which was genetically locked down by Andrew Ryan. Some evidence that this could be an alternate Rapture is the existence of a glass tunnel containing a dead bouncer and a weeping little sister that was not present in the first game. 1981, alternate future. March, a fallen building from Colombia is found high in the Alps, leading to the discovery of several Colombian artifacts, among them a skyhook in its wooden box, a bottle of Murder of Crows, a custom authority book from 1907, a propaganda poster warning of the false shepherd, and other objects. The rest of the city remains hidden to the world. 1983 to 1984, alternate future. December 31st to January 1st, in a timeline where Booker DeWitt and Elizabeth meet, but Elizabeth is recaptured by Songbird, Colombia emerges from isolation and brazenly attacks New York City. Zachary Comstock's prophecy that Elizabeth would lead Colombia to drown in flame the mountains of man is fulfilled. An elderly Elizabeth, responsible for the lead-up to the attack but unable to prevent it herself, summons Booker to this time from 1912 and gives him the musical sequence to control Songbird so that this reality can be avoided. Thanks for watching, etc., etc., etc. Have a good one.